Okay, that's slightly better. But yeah, hi! How you guys doing? How is your Saturday going? I'm gonna... Can I? Not from here. Fuck it. It's fine. I can still see things, but it feels like these need cleaning off, and it bothers me. But yeah, hi. How are you guys? Hope everyone's doing well. I am here, clearly. Saturday, with some tea, which is slightly too warm for me to drink. So I gotta give that some time. I definitely should have enough of. And then, you know, do some stuff, like work on some Subsquares, because I kind of need to do that. I was gonna do other thing, and then I realized I was like, let's not haul ass and actually get some shit done. So, gonna be working on that. I did not get to watch any more of Only Murders in the Building yet. Hoping I can do that a little bit later after stream. Although, given the time frame I currently have, that might not work out. And then if I need to go deal with my hair, probably would have the time. Although, actually, it still might work, maybe. Just have to lurk in the stream, which, not like I don't do that anyway. Anyhow, gonna be working on Subsquares for a bit and then finish spinning the Floof that I was spinning yesterday. At least spinning the singles for that, rather. So, yeah. Essentially, that's the general game plan for today. Barring anything. Oh, I didn't look for Canary. Whoops. I can look for that later. Because I imagine I'd probably need less than half the stream to finish spinning the Floof. I haven't touched it since yesterday. Alright, so... red, blue, okay. Yeah, the blue, purple. That, yeah, it should be fine. Alright, so... kind of working my way backwards slightly. I'm on the last page that I currently possess. I've listed Subsquare colors in the book anyways. And yarn barf. But at least I got me the end out of there. And I need to adjust this. Yeah, the gain's like not terribly high, but that's mainly because the red here is just gonna be very much a pain in the ass color to deal with, in part due to this camera. It's very weird about a good chunk of colors. Like red, I'd say orange, yeah. On the rare occasion, some yellows. Anything, you know, really bright and neon-y, as you've seen. Certain shades of blue and purple also are not very agreed with, so it's just like the whole spectrums here of colors this camera doesn't goddamn agree with. And it's annoying. Hold on. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Anywho, what was I doing? Square. Actually, I could probably remove this color off of here. There. So it stops being that abundant of pain. There. Yeah, it's fine. Square's gonna take up a good chunk, if not almost all of that yarn bar, so it's perfectly fine. Honestly, I feel like if it wasn't the whole Florida thing, I probably wouldn't have this much of a backlog. Demon, hello. How goes? How's your Saturday so far? I just got started. I was a wee bit behind, so you have not missed terribly much so far. Hopefully your weekend is treating you well. Currently just making some Subsquares because I need to actually... Didn't want... That is completely fair. I've been making sure I actually listen to myself whenever I feel like that, because I have the habit of just, like, you know, pushing through and be like, I'll just stream anyway, and then, you know, sometimes not a good thing. So, yeah. Been actually listening to myself a bit more and, you know, actually taking stream off if I actually want to, so I completely get that. Also, I'm like over here, so I'm gonna gently move this back a little bit. That's better. Because I'm like near the end of the edge of frame. So I never know how I'm gonna sit until I sit down, and then it's just like, this is not how it looks when I set the thing up immediately. There you go. Should I? Yeah, I can give this one to Felix. Felix wanted blue. Plus, I should have more than one shade of blue anyway, although I'll probably have to rummage around for it. Come on. Also, I completely forgot that it was Rhineback this weekend until I saw, you know, a guy who makes the electric eel wheel nano, and I was just like, oh, that's this weekend. Because they were talking about their booth, and then I was like, oh, That completely went out my mind because I've never been. So I was like, oh, so that's a thing that's happening. I knew it was this month, but I completely had spaced about the when. I mean, given the whole not going part, it makes sense that I wouldn't, you know, have the awareness to know where and when stuff is happening. Come on. Come on. There we go. Nope. Come on. Let's see if the tea is any less too warm. Okay, still a little bit too warm, but it's getting there. Not like it's scalding my face, so there's that at least. What was I? Yeah, I was talking about Brian back and forgetting that even was happening. Which is absolutely hilarious given the whole hey. That is usually the most talked about thing. But it's, given the fact that it's upstate, it's one of those, I wish they had one more, well, they do have something similar-ish in Manhattan. Sock Jam Wizard mentioned, but, you know, not as the same scale. I really do wish they had something, like, of that magnitude in the city. Then I would maybe go to one of those. Although I would have to save up some coin for that because, yeah, there's a lot of pretties and it's hard to, you know, not want to buy everything. Nope. Oh, look, my favorite song out of this whole entire thing. Come on. Alright, and we are almost done with this first square. Which usually takes me about 20 minutes, although, yeah, given, 5 of that time I have right here is, like, for getting started and everything. More like 15. Alright. And oh look, I did not forget my scissors for once. I was looking for everything right before I got started, and then I was like, hey, I probably will need those. Since half the time I usually forget them and have to go looking for them. Alright, so Felix, I hope you enjoy your square if you happen to be checking out the spot at some point in time in the future. Or if you're lurking, one or the other. But yeah, so That's one square off the list. Let's see. Next one is James, which it's this color here. Also, this is getting a bit. Okay, that's more the outside than the inside. Cool. So not so bad in the yarn brush department. Alright, so square one. This one, if I recall, is like a little bit thin, like just under worsted, even though I think this is considered a worsted yarn, which is reminiscent of, what's that other yarn? The Dishy yarn in the same respect, although this is Lion Brand? Yeah, this is Lion Brand, if memory serves me correctly. Which I do like this color. Come on. There it is. I'm kind of watching this a little bit closely just because this is so thin. This is more like a DK rather than worsted in feel. Plus, I think because of the anti-pilling whatever, this has a slight bit of residue. Almost, well, not even, it's not that bad. Not Karen Simply Soft bad. Which, not trying to be a yarn snob or anything, it's just I personally am not fond of that yarn. I mean, Red Heart has its issues too, but yeah, not fond of Karen Simply Soft, I'll tell you that much. Just because it splits like hell. Come on. There we go. Nope. Come on. But yeah, this would be a nice lipstick color. Which I haven't worn lipstick in years now. Not that I hate lipstick or anything, that's one of the few things I actually kind of liked, although sometimes trying to pair lipstick and eyeshadow was an interesting feat. But it also just depends on the color that you're trying to go with. Also, let's see what the hell. Okay, I think I know what this is. Probably... Oh no. Okay. I should have guessed that person too. Alright, cool. Also, I realized, even though yesterday I said I was doing general craft stuff, I still had my digital art thing from Wednesday in the... What's its face? General announcement blurb whenever anyone goes live. Which, that was my bad. I'm usually very good about changing those on stream-by-stream basis, but it happens. Alright. Yeah. Let's see. Almost there. One more round and then I'll be done with the second square. Which, this is kind of the reason why I decided these were like a sub thing, just because these go rather quickly. It's just, you know, the fact is when they start piling up is where, you know, the issue lies. Because, you know, the more of these I have to do, the longer it would take for this to get done. Which is why I'm trying to do these outside of stream. Which I got some orange out of the Brava yarn, which that's what this yarn is, this blue. Which I'd gotten that mainly for the reason of, hey, probably gonna need some colors, which is also a thing I'm probably going to think about, if not later this year, probably in the next year, given, hey, the neon colors are going to run out, and given the garbage selection the local Michaels has, typically, although I've not been in there at Wager since, you know, the old plague has started, if not even before that, because that's not a place I frequently adventured. Anyhow. Plus having to buy it online annoys me just the whole... Because you're required to buy 3, which... Given how they are packaged, I think because they are probably packaged in sets of 3. And I guess wanting to prevent, you know, too many people putting their hands on the yarn, it makes sense. Especially now, you don't want people's hands that have been who knows where on your yarn. Although, again, that's a thing that's probably going to have to wait until at least next payout, which I have no absolute clue when the hell that's going to be. I'm hoping next month, but obviously there are no guarantees in anything. And in regards to things like that, so... we'll see. Also, the dragon scale bracelets, the chainmail thing, completely unrelated, but as of this morning, I'd started taking that apart to redo it. I've been fiddling around with that. It's just because I didn't like how the colors mingled. They're all different shades of purple, but it's just like I kind of want to change how they are. Plus, you know, it's more than likely gonna be a personal project more than anything else. Plus, the fact is, what's its face? I do want to change the clasp anyway. To probably a lobster clasp. I had one of those sliding clasps, but That sliding class unfortunately annoys me to no end. So, I figured also a good reason. And given I would have to adjust the bracelet anyway if I'm going to replace the class, it just makes more sense to, you know, deal with that instead and just redo the thing. Although I'm going to have to remind myself how the hell to do that weave. Alright. And let's see. Yeah. You can definitely see, but compared to these two, although this is arguably bulky, but given how Brava is, bulky is actually worsted weight. Like, everything is a little bit thinner than what it's proclaimed to be. Like, worsted, which that's what I'm using on my sweater, which currently hangs out in my basket over there. Even though it's worsted, it's more like a DK, which I don't mind. Okay, that's a good temperature. Cool. What was it? Yeah, I don't mind. Because I feel like worsted is a little bit too bulky on a sweater for me personally. So DK is probably about my stopping point. Alright, so here's your Subsquare jam. Alright, and I believe that's the only instance of red heather I have, so you might not see this color again today. Yeah, I really don't think so. Red tends to not be that popular of a color. Or at least that color so far. Alright. Although I'm also wondering next time might just, you know, wrap this against itself and see how that works. Why didn't I do that before? Oh well. Alright, so 2 squares down. Mechanical pencils want purple, so I will be using this purple. Alright. Do. Come on. There it is. So doing these is always a nice activity. Given don't really have to think about them too hard. Although I've never done these in a blanket. Honestly, if I did do so, I'd probably do a solid granny square. Just because I feel like regular granny square, which you can see this compared. Because I did half regular granny square and half solid. And solid half obviously is a bit more guaranteed in warmth, in my opinion. Although if you want something light for, like, say, a summer blanket or some kind, maybe you'd probably do regular granny square blanket and join the squares together and all that jazz. Alright. Come on. There. Next time I do get some Brava for Subsquare colors, I might get a magenta. Come on. Come on. Come on. There it is. Nope. Alright. Thought I was gonna get caught on something. Luckily it did not, so that works out for me. If I recall, this color does not have its... what's the word? It does not have the thinness issue like this yarn does. Come on. Nope. Nope. There it is. Demon, do you happen to have any plans for the weekend? Or are you just taking it easy? Ah, why? Especially when I'm working with a dark color man. Come back. There we go. Alright, last but for the second round on the square. There's one more round on this one, and then, you know, I'll be finished with this. It's probably... well, yeah, I easily should have time for a fourth one, which works for me, because that'll mean we'll use all the colors that I currently have sitting right in front of me. And then probably take my first break after that, and then maybe do one or two more, and then spin for however long it takes for me to spin. Hello, plane. Please go away. Although, planes have not been terrible today. And they flying overhead. Although, speaking of things flying overhead, what was it? Yesterday? No. Night before last, there was a fucking helicopter looking for who knows what. And it sat around, like, I didn't notice until I was like, what the hell is that annoying sound? And it was like, oh, great. Like, it was hovering in that area, because it didn't sound like it was moving closer or farther away for a bit. And I was like, what's going on here? It eventually left, but, like, it was looking for something. That, unless it was, like, random helicopter reporting the goddamn traffic or something. But it was, like, 12 p.m. I'm pretty sure they're not doing it at that point in time. It tends to be either the first newscast in the morning, which is like what, 5 a.m. or so? Give or take. And then, you know, in the evening, I'll call it 5 or 6, but never that dead of the night sort of thing. So I was like, oh, this is weird. What is going on? Still have no clue what the hell is going on with that, so, eh. I mean, it's not like we're near a prison or anything. So there should be nothing of that variety to be worrying about, so, It was weird, and it annoyed me, is mainly what I'm saying about that. Because that's always one of those obnoxious sounds. Especially when it won't leave. Okay, is this... This actually might be about... Oh, come on. Why? Well, this might be... Remember when I said this might not have a thinness problem? Turns out I might be incorrect. Because I am using the same hook for all of these. Because I prefer using the H hook. So I don't want it too loose, but I don't want it too stiff either. So going in about the typical sweet spot for our worsted weight yarn, which is usually 5mm hook, i.e. an H hook, is usually where I try to go for these sorts of things. Because, you know, if I went up to, like, say, an I or a J, it would probably be a wee bit too loose. And holy, which is not what I want. 1, 2, and that should about... Okay, I'm getting faster with these. Again, it used to be like 20 minutes it would take me to do one of these. And it's actually getting to around the 15-minute mark, which is interesting, given the whole... I guess because I do these so often, kinda can do it in my sleep at this point. Alright, and then... Ba-da-da-da. There. Here's the thing. Alright, so... I believe... Who is this one going to? Let me double check. Mechanical pencils! Enjoy your Subsquare. You got to be hanging out here and or lurking elsewhere. Which, again, not calling anybody out of lurk because I would hate it if someone did that to me. You know, like, intentionally. If it's, like, unintentionally, you happen to be mentioning the person and it's just like, oh, hey, they're there. That's a different thing altogether. When you're deliberately doing it, you're kind of an ass. Anyhow, move these. This. Which, yeah, I have one square. It's going to be random, so I'm going to be using the heather gray that I have here. Also, let me make sure I mark this off. I believe this is on a previous page. Yeah, that's what... Oh, all the way back there. Whoops. I'm gonna have to probably pull out the neon at least a little bit, but yeah. 2 hits. Give it a random square. Which, let me put what the color actually is. I should probably do that whenever I do random. Just so I have an idea of who's who. Although, this is not a thing I've, like, you know, been implementing until recently. It probably just makes my life easier. Kind of, sometimes people can't pick two anyway, so it's like, if I don't get an answer after a while, and it's like, I know I'm not gonna see you for frequent bouts, it's just best to put random. Plus it allows me to use some of my lesser used colors when it comes to Subsquares, so win-win. This is not not a color I use terribly often because I like this color for, like, say, hats and stuff. This is a pretty color. And my brain's like, I should make a hat. And it's like, you have other stuff. Plus, you have enough hats. For now, anyway. But fall is always the season of where I kind of want to make all the hats, even though I probably shouldn't. But I needed like a couple of like neutral hats, although I have a hat I did like a buffalo plaid pattern. Although I feel like I definitely should be making, for myself at least, shorter hats. That kind of fits my head better. Also, tea. Tea is warranted. It's still like right in the sweet spot of not too hot and near the edge of getting cold. Which this is the oolong tea, which I have put a dent in that one, so try not to drink it too often, although I've had it twice this week. So, given caffeine has like a 12-hour half-life, probably gonna be up until like nearly 2 a.m. Not that I really need to be, but oh well. This is why I usually try to have like more beverages like that before start a stream. Also because I know sometimes people do not like hearing people eat and or drink on stream, which, sorry, I forget that sometimes, but I know it's a thing. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take the break and like look for a couple of colors. Maybe 2 or 3. Probably 3. Come on. Oh, so I think I hit tangents again for like the millionth time. Which is why there's a tangent command, although I don't believe that's on. There's a tangent counter. And I usually forget its existence until, you know, stuff like this. Counter? There's counter. I'm probably gonna need to add at least 2, because I know because the whole rambling about childhood books things happened the other day. Probably should count that on there. Let's see. Tangent. Let's see. +2. Oh, wait, yeah. There shouldn't be a space, so... Is it tangent plus or plus tangent? We've established this one time, and then I keep forgetting what the hell it is. Annoying text that it's irrelevant. But yeah, I don't remember what that is, so I will probably deal with that later. Maybe during the break, who knows. If I remember to. Anyhow, square. Come on. Oops. Do. Come on. And let's get this over here. Also, thought about chainmail bracelet, I think, which probably should be able to get that taken apart and start to work that back together. I think I might do that on stream Tuesday, at least the starting to get back together part. Just because I tend to not do chainmail on stream terribly often. Which I think because it tends to not be my main thing. It tends to not get as much attention. I don't know. But you know, also depends on the time of day, because I know, at least on the weekdays, plenty of people are, you know, doing their work and jobs and such. So they can't, you know, just sit here. I imagine there are some that kindly do lurk, and I do appreciate that. But yeah, no, I notice when it's like, hey, sometimes I play games, and it's like, viewership tends to drop, and it's like, but I want to do the thing. It's an annoying seesaw of not, like, pegging yourself into a corner, but then also not alienating your audience, if that's the best way to put it. I don't know. I don't know. I am just thinking aloud here. Okay, I could slow down a little bit, given I have a couple of minutes until break here. And it's not gonna take me that long to get around. But yeah, I really am going a wee bit faster with this. That's interesting. Well, it does help the whole being caffeinated thing, probably likely is part of the reason why, I imagine. Oh, so I realized I just did a majority of someone I know's favorites colors. I just realized that. Oh god. That was not intended, but very amusing. I didn't plan that. Oh, speaking of said person, also gonna probably be making them a dragon scale bracelet. I might see about doing that for Christmas. To know them as Christmas present. Which, yes, I'm aware it's middle of October, but you know, Christmas gets here quickly. And depending on whether or not if I get orders, which that would be great. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. There it is. Come on. Ta-da! Alright, so that's square number 4. So I could probably sit here and talk for like 2 or 3 minutes before I go on break. But yeah, to hiss, enjoy your Subsquare if you're lurking. Also, I think this might be... Is this? No. Although I think I might have stretched a little bit, but it's probably a good thing. Because it's probably cinching in on itself a wee bit, as it's wont to do sometimes. Which makes me think I should block some of these. Maybe to get these to stretch a little bit. I don't know. Alright, but that's for Subsquares, which, again, for me, pretty good in the span of an hour. Let's see. There's 1, 2. Okay, 2 colors. Well, actually, no, 3 on this page, so I can actually just grab those colors while I'm on break and then get those done. And then get to spinning. Which that is actually a good course of plan. So, let's see. Jane! Hello! How are you? I'm actually gonna go on break in less than 2 minutes, but how goes? Oh, so I finished my tea, didn't I? I'm just chatting here, but made some Subsquares, which... Here's yours, by the way. I got through 4 of these, which I was surprised I got through 4. Again, normally my pace is like 20 minutes for one of these, but I imagine caffeine. Yeah, I've always liked this half regular granny square, half solid style. There's honestly not much to it except, you know, just choosing which side is which. Just kind of... Did I summon you by mentioning Christmas? Which, yeah, for anybody doing any crafting for Christmas presents, you might want to get your ass into gear because it's mid-October. And, you know, packaging and shipping stuff is gonna be a nightmare. Which is always the terrifying part. And about it on the shop. Yay! Did you get to the second clue? Cause yeah. Stacy said yesterday, it dropped yesterday. Which there are some, like, what? I-chord loops, which is like, I'm sorry, who now? I don't think I've ever heard the term. For family gifts. Okay. You're getting that done early, which that is good. Which, I presume you're seeing your family for Christmas, which, sorry, I'm getting 20 questions on you. I presume yes. Oh, so I really do need to get these cleaned off. That's slightly better. Photo album from cardstocking chipboard. Aww. Also, that should feasibly work for my sister. Okay. I said my, and I meant yours. Oops. I really do wonder where the other one of these went. I put it somewhere and then it has disappeared off the face of the earth. And I would like to know where it is so I'd have a backup in case something happens to this. Which, it hasn't happened yet. Oh, also I got envelopes yesterday, which they're over there, but... Because phones. Fair. We have like a couple of family albums. Now that you mention that. So, I hadn't thought about that, but that's actually true. But at the same time, I guess environmentally speaking, probably a good thing given the whole having to... You have them from before? Yeah. I think, like, my parents were looking through a couple of them. Like, there's a ton of photos for me as a wee human. Like, you know, elementary school. Well, until you lose your phone or forget to back up. This is true. This is also true. And then the computer... Yeah. I know that feeling. Computer dies and your hard drive is screwed, you should say. Because that would not help. Oh, speaking of hard drives, I'm gonna need to upgrade my hard drive to an SSD. Because I have an HD one. But that's a down the road sort of thing, since that basically helps the speed and the processing thing. Also, I would probably ponder which kind of SSD drive. Although I personally would like it to be, you know, the same... What's the word? Same 2 terabytes that I have in this hard drive. But again, that's one of those things I'd probably have to sit down and do. And I know my next payout more than likely would not cover it. So, me? Maybe next year? Brain. Okay, yeah, I should definitely take my break, or else I'll just start tangent blabbing for a bit. So, I'm gonna go stretch, get that teacup into the sink, and go find colors for a couple more Subsquares, like 2 or 3 more. And then I'm gonna do those and then spin, because I'm actually near the end of the, what's its face? The sparkly floof, actually. So, yay for that. But yeah, back in like 10 minutes. Totally feel free to play the Plinko or the drop games here on the Be Right Back. So, shuffling around looking for the yarn took a wee bit longer than I thought, but I did find it. There we go. Yeah, 2 absurdly bright colors we've got here. I swore I had another solid blue, but I think I'm gonna have to rummage around in the acrylic yarn stash and organize that. Because it's looking a bit messy. Messier than I would like, so I'm gonna need to fiddle around in there. So, let me get these Subsquares all done and then get to the spinning. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't turn on GiftBot, did I? I knew I was missing something when I was setting up and everything. There it is. Gotta wait for that. So I still have another skein of this, so I'm fine with this right now. The rest of the Brava colors, I only have 1. But I doubt any of those I'll be finished anytime soon. Except maybe the orange. That's probably not too likely, because orange is a... what's it's called? Not a popular color when it comes to Subsquare, but it does pop up every so often, so... we'll see. Alright, and... now that GiftBot's open, I can do this. Alright, do. Do. I would have to say this is like a plush worsted. Even though this is a bulky weight, but yeah. Honestly, this is definitely worsted in thickness. Which is why I buy this instead of the actual worsted weight, which is a wee bit thin. So apparently dropped a wee bit of frames while I was getting myself situated during break. Nothing too substantial, but it's enough for at least me to notice. Come on. Also, Jane, if you're still here, not calling out a lurk or anything, you have D&D today? I know typically that's when you... Today is usually about when you have your D&D meetings. Virtually speaking, anyways. It was moved to... Okay. Because I was like... It just occurred to me. Normally you just pop in quickly and then wander off. If that was the case. Halloween session. Ah, okay. That makes sense. No, he did not. I have no idea. You would have to ask him that question. Do. Personalized Patchwork, hello. How are you doing? How is your Saturday going? I'm here doing some Subsquares, which are basically granny squares I make for anybody who happens to sub and or resubs to the channel. Probably gonna switch to spinning at some point. Not bad. Not up to terribly much today, although it looks like I'm gonna have to tidy up my acrylic yarn stash. It seems to have gotten a little bit tangled up in spots, so I need to deal with that. Seven. Oh, okay, you're UK. You have some family in the UK. Just putting a little no and settling down for yay. Hope you at least get a little bit of time to yourself. Bonsai's dying, so I'm trying to find the right soil. Oh no! I didn't realize he had a bonsai tree. I'm sorry, the wee plant is not having a good time. Hopefully the plant can be saved. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Isn't bad 2 weeks ago. Oh. Never mind. I take that back. Yeah, newborn equals what is personal time and space and anything. So I understand that. But congratulations. Alright. Also, color's slightly off on here because of the lighting. Plus this is bright, so the camera tends to be like, oh my god, bright color. I'll just scream about it. Which is not helpful. In her bouncy chair, I'm taking the 5-man. Aww. Is she the I like to nap or I don't want naps whatsoever type? Because I know that's usually how it goes for toddlers. Either I like naps or nope, I will not do the sleeps. Ever. Alright, so alrighty. This is one more done. Keldar, here's your Subsquare. Hope you like it. If you're checking out the VOD at a future point in time. Also, just not that bright. It's just the light reflecting on here, making it worse color-wise. Which I do like the color, it's just lighting. Once she's asleep, or first to fall asleep on us. Aww. That's precious, but also inconvenient. Also, we don't want, yeah, that's gonna make things not helpful. So, definitely a thing you wanna try to not instill, if possible. Alright, now we have Rogue done. Let's do the square and canary. Also, I should probably check off this square in my book here. I'm trying to keep better track of these. Alright, so that's a canary. Yeah, canary, and then blue, and that finishes off everything most recent that I need to get done. Which, other than the ones that still need colors assigned to them, well, that's one of those. If they pop up, I will ask them if I remember, and if not, after a while I'll give them random designation. Also, what are you working on? And what kind of crafts do you do? You know, when you actually have the ability to do them, which I imagine is pretty much never at this point. But you know, when that sort of time existed. Come on. Also, this is more of a golden yellow. It has like I'd say, slight edge of orange to it. But on camera it just comes out straight Tweety Bird yellow. At least at the current color balance anyway. Which is set to change also. That does not smell I should be smelling. I will be right back. Hopefully that is what I'm smelling. Also, Okay, I was incorrect with talking what that was. Thankfully. I thought I was smelling gas. Thankfully, that was not the case. Doing a lot of crafts and working on knitting. Yay! I have a sweater on needles that's kind of been put to the wayside, although I need to figure out where the hell I am in that sweater. Oh, it's nothing complicated. It's a flax sweater that I tin can knits. And also, you'll be right at home here because I also do a lot of crafts. Because I like having options. Alright, come on. Although crochet is actually the first craft I've done. I definitely tend to knit more, but you know, also chainmail. Mostly okay, I was gonna ask if you streamed. The my own business making keepsake bears and quilts and personalized. Oh, that is lovely. Also, I will definitely check you out actually. I like having more crafty streamers. Sewing is not in my wheelhouse, so quilts are definitely beyond me. But that sounds like very much like fun. Alright, also let me mute this tab so an ad doesn't start screaming at me. Because ads want to do that. Alright, you has been followed. Come on, what is that? There you go. Is this a recent thing? Thank you! You didn't have to do that, but I very much appreciate it. Just as a note, I tend to bounce around between things, so you might not see me doing the same thing twice. Just as a heads up. I started knitting this year, so I made myself a sweater. Nice! Given both knit and crochet are kind of suited for various things, like, crochet is definitely amigurumi friendly, although you can knit amigurumi, but I feel like crochet is definitely better suited. Bee! Hello! Thank you for the lurk. I very much appreciate it. I really should make an unlurk command. I keep meaning to do that. Which, once I have... Well, actually, no, I could probably, after the square, might switch over to doing smithing, although... Probably best if I do the next square too. And just clear off what I have to get done in that section. Ba-doop-doo. Oh, so at this rate, I might have to start, you know, doing squares when they come in to avoid having too hefty of a backlog. Nope, don't go there. Thank you. Also, what was I saying before I got myself distracted? I think I was saying something along the lines of, hey, you know, knit and crochet are suited for different things. Yeah, that was along the lines I was going on about. Which, yeah, crochet, definitely amigurumi friendly. And knits, I feel, definitely more suited for things like clothing and things you want more drape. Not that you can't have things with drape if you're doing crochet, because I have crocheted shawls, which I have a half granny square shawl. Like, this is kind of like a scrap project. Oops, come on. Oh yeah, also weave, but weave I'm very much new at on things that I do, so I don't do that terribly often. I did get given a loom. A laser cut rigid hell loom, so that's one of those things I kind of need to figure out at some point. I might do that during the Christmas break, maybe. That'll be a suitable time for me to get that all set. Alright. How much time? Yeah, I easily should have enough time to get another square done and then get on to spinning my floof on the wheel, which I have an electric wheel, to note. If you want to check out what wheel I have, you can do !wheel, and that'll allow you a link directly to the website I got it from, although I got it on Kickstarter, so it cost a wee bit less in comparison to what it currently costs on the website due to yield plague induced costs for one of the parts, so, you know, sort of things like that. You kind of have to pass the cost on to the consumer and so on and so forth. Which they're still in the lower price frame anyway, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Alright. Almost there. Yeah. Come on. And then this little corner here. Alright, one more of these loops here. Secure this back together. Ta-da! Alright, so we've got this going. There. Alright, let me check. Alright, Liz! Which, Liz, aka Freckle Fiberworks, is currently, doing job stuff in various places. So, she'll probably not see this VOD, but here's your Subsquare. Hope you enjoy it. The color is different than what it actually is on camera because camera be weird. But she's also a fellow streamer. Again, currently on hiatus at the moment, but she does knitting. I started doing some crochet. Does some spinning. It also weaves as well. So if you want to check her out, or at least, you know, follow her for whenever she comes back, which that's not going to be for this year. That is likely going to be for the new year, which that is weird to be talking about the new year already. But, you know, this whole year has just been going on by like nothing anyway. So, why not? Alright, so, and this last square is for Atomic Stacy. Which, this will be my 7th square for today. Which is pretty good. I had made like 8 of them the other day, so that means I've done 15. But I'm gonna need to, you know, get going on those to get at least most of the way caught up. Which is my plan. Alright. And this, yeah, this yarn feels a little bit thin. I don't have a ton of this left, and I don't think I'll buy any more of this, because this is slightly like the newspaper yarn that I have. Not yarn I have, newspaper, but that's what the color is called, newspaper. So... And also, why are we doing this? I very much appreciate knots not happening in my yarn. That would be very much appreciated. Come on. Just get out of there. Oh wait, oh, that would be why that's a knot. No worries. Enjoy your well-deserved nap. And thank you for the follow. I very much appreciate it. Alright. And presuming you're not back by the time I head off of here, which is gonna be about another hour or so. Very much enjoy the rest of your weekend and hopefully see you again sometime soon. Alright, and... Alright. Oh wait, no. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be attaching this to over here. Because I already have all my 4 sides. And... Alright. Also, speaking of Subsquare colors, I found that blue and silver yarn that I'd had issue finding, and luckily that one wasn't one of the yarns that are guilty of kind of tangling themselves together. I really do need to deal with that. That's going to make things a lot more of a pain in the butt. And then see about getting a couple more of the bits and ends to assign themselves to another plastic bag to make life easy. Although I think I am going to get rid of that Karen Simply Soft in the orange color. I hate it. I hate it very much. Also, light has dimmed a lot. Please come back. Kind of need you back. There we go. Like, if I could get myself closer to a window, this would probably not be as bad of an issue when it comes to lighting, but unfortunately that is not the case based on how this area is set up, so I unfortunately cannot do that, which is unfortunate. Like, if the windows were done differently, this would probably be a little less annoying. But alas, it was not to be. Nope, come on. There it is. I think I'm just gonna do regular granny square on this one so I don't have to do terribly much. Alright. Come on. Also, once I switch to the spinning, I'm probably gonna need to tweak the... what's its face? I probably need to tweak... what's the word? Color balance. There we go. White balance, actually. Come on. And also, I've noticed no one, because I have a couple of books I put on my Amazon thing. No one's bought a book for me in a while. Although, I have to double check if I turn that back on. I haven't checked on that in a really long time. Not that many people are buying any of my books, but I've put at least a couple of my books on Amazon, mostly a good chunk of my college books that I have hanging around here to at least free up a little bit of space. Although the majority of my book space is dedicated to books. Shocking, I know. But... Alright, we are almost there. Just a wee bit more. And I'm gonna put yarn away. And then set up the spinning stuff and things. Can it be a little bit brighter over here? Although, actually, I can actually just adjust the gain to be a wee bit brighter, because I don't have the gain all the way up. Okay, fine. That's a little bit better. But I don't want to have it all the way up just in case it got more brighter and then it just washed out everything. Which is completely unhelpful. Alright, one more. And attach this over here. Alright. If I do manage to finish the spinning, which I have a feeling I might just go about seeing to potentially doing another Subsquare or two if the time facilitates it. But yeah. Thanks, Stacy. Hopefully you enjoy your Subsquare if you happen to check this or are lurking, because I'm pretty sure stream should be over by now. I'd presume anyway. Yeah, because this would be going a bit late, but stranger things have happened. But yes, hope you enjoy your Subsquare, and that puts us at our 7 for now. So, yeah, 7 squares. Now time for me to put this over here. Let's put that there. Alright. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to move this over here and get to our spinning, which I really do need to take a lint remover or something to this, as I keep saying, just because all the sparkly stuff on here is driving me nuts. Alright, and I remembered to actually bring the foot pedal, so yay. But I'm gonna have to change scenes given... Yeah, this is not the one for this. There. Hello. That needs to go a wee bit higher. And that needs to go over here. This would be better suited to be in frame. And... there we go. Sorry. Normally I would put it on, what's it say? Studio mode or something. But where it wouldn't involve too much movement. Alright, and foot pedal. Let's put this in a proper angle so my foot doesn't miss it. Let's turn this on. Oh, so I think I'm gonna leave it alone in saturation. Saturation looks fine enough. So, yeah, this is all of the floof I have left for this Batt. So, yeah, not terribly far long to go. This might take me, I'd say, 20 minutes or so. Which, it's given how close it is to break time, probably not going to get to do terribly much before I take my second break. Also, this one like it's going a little bit fast. Which I made sure to finish the locks the last time. Which if anybody saw me basically having to pre-draft like hell to get it to do what I want. That's pretty much done, so it's this stuff left over, which should be pretty easy to work with. Also, yeah, I think I want to turn this down a little bit because this is going a little bit fast. So, yeah, this is pretty much on the 2. Which I normally don't keep it that high. That's better. If I were spinning silk, probably that, if not close to about 3. Which I have not spun silk on this thing, so I cannot wait to try it out. Probably something involving the silk blend. Given I have 2 braids of yarn that do involve silk, I certainly will have opportunities to use it for such. Also, yeah, it's dark. I'm gonna need to go grab a light here to get it to do the thing. So, I'm gonna get my light and prop it up somewhere. Where is it? Alright. There it is. There. There. So that stuff's being as bad in that corner. Whoopsie. It's easier to not have it on the table. So I don't have to worry about knocking it over for like the 15th time. Also, trying to remember that I'm doing this thicker than what I normally would. Because my hand wants to just draft until it hits my usual 40 wraps per inch. Even though it's not what I want it to be. I'm gonna miss spinning this, but at the same time I'll be glad to be done spinning this just because, yeah, sparkles everywhere, including on myself, is not my jam. But yeah, color-wise this is out of my comfort zone, which is probably both good and bad. Thank you for that stretch command. Or some potting soil now, a new pot. At least I can say, oh, right. No worries. Alright, I'm gonna do this and then give myself some time to take a stretch. And paid a lot of my, so I feel bad for, oh, how much was it? I have no idea the general cost of, yeah, I have no idea the general cost of bonsai plants. Yeah, I have no idea. Also, hi! Also, oh, I didn't realize that was out of frame like that. Let me do the thing. Nope. Actually, I could put that here and then put this over here. No, it's not what I want over there. Also, it's gift. Oh, how about if I put that there and then also that needs to get fit to screen. Because I'd fix the issue with that. There. And then where is my thing? So I can move that. There it is. So I realized that was being blocked by that. Alright, now we're cool. Awesome. It was a bit. Oh. Ow. I can understand you not wanting to let that die. Yeah. I always found, like, the mini plants like that really cool, but I had not ever really looked into how much they cost pricing-wise. So yeah. Ow. Also, Keldar, how are you doing? I actually did your Subsquare earlier. Hi and bye! Thank you for popping in. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Sorry, no worries, you're fine. Schoolwork is definitely way more important than sitting here listening to me blab about various things. But definitely glad to see you. I think I might need to move my hook. And I probably should have before the start. Well, actually, no, a little bit more and then hook move. Which I'm not gonna make it to the back of this, I suspect. Which that is totally fine. I'd not been planning for that anyway. Yeah, this is probably not going to be even, but that's perfectly fine. The still is going to need to be plied, but I'm glad to at least be done with the singles. Oops. Got slipped out of my hand before I could see if that twist was perfectly fine. Alright, now it's time to move this hook. Given your wee little plant, is very pricey, how much is it for, you know, the potting soil and all that stuff? Hopefully not a ton. Also, I need to send you a thing so you could potentially print stickers. Whenever you have the time to, that is. So speaking of art-related things, for anybody who doesn't know, I have a Ko-fi page, which there is a donut membership if anybody's interested in that. It's the same price as a sub here on Twitch, but, you know, I get more money out of that than versus a sub on Twitch because, you know, Twitch gets half of that. Plus fees, it's like, I get like $2.30 rather than like $2.50. But yeah, for the donut membership, basically, you kind of get like sneak peeks of things, although I need to edit that since Redbubble is no longer a thing for me. Although I didn't take down my listings, it's just visible to only me, given I, one, was not really getting anything out of it, financially speaking. Which, given all the work I put in to put stuff on there, kind of feels like an effort in futility. And given, you know, what I've heard of people getting their stuff stolen off of there, like people scraping their art off of there and then putting it on their own listings, it's like, no thank you. Because even though they have a watermark, it's not to the standard that greatly protects one's artwork. So, yeah. If I ever do anything I really like and am proud of, I very much don't want to get that gypped off of there by someone else. So, yeah. It just completely makes sense to just get it all off of there. But given it's visible to only me, I could still get stuff for, you know, giveaways and that sort of thing. It's just, you guys won't be able to see the stuff. I mean, eventually I like to be able to find somewhere else to get the stuff printed. Or heck, even maybe get some prints done. Although I'd probably have to get some chipboard or something. If I ever do like my own prints. Also, speaking of Ko-fi, I still have the pins on there, the donut pins, which I'm thinking about if we hit 1,000 followers, I might do a giveaway of one of the pins. Given we're slowly but surely approaching that number, which I wasn't sure what would happen. Given, you know, everything's kind of opening back up, even though it probably shouldn't be. But anyhow, yeah, we're slowly but surely getting there, so I think we might get there this year, which is very cool. It's taken a while, but we are slowly but surely growing. Which, if the rest of the pins sell, which I'm hopeful that they might sell, although I'm currently only selling them to US and Canada, only just because, you guys are kinda crazy with your prices and stuff. Unless someone wants to be like, hey, DM me and be like, I really want a pin. Even though I know the shipping would probably cost more than the goddamn pin itself. Which very much sucks. Also, I should probably pause here and take my second break. I realize I am rambling. But yes, other than pins on the Ko-fi page and the donut tier membership, there are digital art wallpapers available in my shop. Currently 4. I'm hoping to get 1 or 2 more in for spoopy season. To start expanding on that, so definitely, if you guys want to support, that is certainly a way to do it. Not required to do it, but definitely check it out if you'd like. And I'm gonna go take my second break, have some water, so on and so forth, and I will be back in about 10 minutes. Might be slightly less than that, depending, but wrong screen. And totally feel free to play the Plinko or the drop game, which are both available on the screen, but, you know, they're invisible until you do the thing, so you can do !Plinko, P-I-L-N-K-O, or drop, and potentially add an email on the end for extra bit of fun. And I will be back in a moment. I would act surprised, but I'm kind of tempted to do the Macaulay Culkin. But that would not work. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys coming in here. I really did expect you to be already done. Even though I know you were doing the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. If I didn't have these headphones on my ears the entire time while I stream, just in case I missed stuff alert-wise, then you would have gotten away with it. Because I heard the sound and I was just like, what's happening? Ah! So we just kept partying. I'm all for the partying. Anybody who's coming here for the first time, I can imagine might be a couple of you. Hi, Serena Variety Caster of Way Too Many Things, which I mean that very, very literally. Yeah. Today has been be productive and so on and so forth, so did a bunch of Subsquares, which, by the way, Stacy, this one is yours, literally the last one I did, so that's actually fitting. I do that and then you show up. So yeah, we have 7 of these done. I'm trying to catch up, so getting those done. And also finishing spinning the rest of the sparkly floof here. which there's like a little bit here you can see of the natural locks that I had to literally sit there and shred yesterday in order to get it to draft properly. Like, I could literally feel the lanolin on my hands after a while because I had to go and do that because those locks are like very, very stubborn. Like, it makes the processed stuff look like silk in comparison. But yes, like to do all the crafts, sometimes the art stuff. You can actually check out all the stuff I do by doing !follow, and you'll get the link tree of all my stuff and things, including my Ko-fi page, Etsy page, and so on and so forth. I did feel something. Good. And if you happen to enjoy the chill vibes, including the Professor Layton music that currently is playing in the background, totally feel free to hang out and give a follow. Nothing's required, just hang out and have a good time. But yeah, so we're actually pretty close to finishing the sparkly floof. This is all I have left, and I need to take a lint roller to this thing that I have covering the makeshift table. Because I can see the sparkles in here everywhere, so lint roller. Because the vacuum's not taking it up, so lint roller it will be once I'm done. Which, I'm going to be chain plying this, so that'll be a thing. Which, if I finish spinning this, I might start spinning something else. Because I might not want to do any more Subsquares, at least on stream for today. And I was thinking that earlier, I was like, sparkles and more sparkles. Actually, hopefully it will not be that bad when I use this, which, again, probably gonna be, yeah, basically sparkles forever, endeavor, because they never leave. But yeah, this, color-wise, is certainly outside of my usual comfort zone when it comes to spinning. Which is definitely a good thing. Because doing things that are different is certainly something you should do. And I imagine shouldn't. That shouldn't, not should. I thought so. And yeah, I one time woke up and had one of those sparkles, like, on my face, and I'm just like, why? What are we doing? Why is this happening? But okay. Like, that stuff has traveled outside of the room into the kitchen, and I'm just like, that should not be there, but okay. Which, that sort of thing makes me think of, like, you know, trace evidence and, you know, all that stuff. It's like, you don't think things are gonna get as far as they do. And transference and all that. Crime shows! Whee! But yeah, it's kind of living proof that, you know, all that stuff is correct. Also, hi, you can actually see my hands. Because I have this thing up really high. Which is the best way to get both my hands and the actual wheel in the shot, given how big this is. Which, if I had this thing actually be larger, I'd actually be able to turn it, you know, other way around. But alas, I cannot. Stacy, did you get into your second clue? I know you were somewhat close. 100. Indeed. Indeed. Yes. Yay! So, of course it counts. And I think I need to move this hook. Yeah. Man, I love this foot pedal forever. Although, again, I try to be very good at not jabbing my foot on the fiddle, so I don't destroy it. It probably wouldn't be terrible to find a replacement, although I'm kind of strapped in that department of buying things right now, so that's gonna have to wait, if that ever became a thing. Also, I have the lamp that I usually have on the table here perched elsewhere, so I don't have to worry about knocking it over like I'm usually inclined to. Which I should probably just keep having it up there, but that's also where I typically have my tea, but given I finished my tea, I don't have to worry about potentially crowding the space. Actually, this does come with one, which I'm using right now, because that means I can start and stop hands-free, and I very much enjoy this. This is like one of the perks that I very much enjoyed compared to having the Nano. Itch. And although sometimes I forget to pick this up when I'm bringing this over here, but yeah, foot pedal, which has its own separate thing. But yeah, I'm being real gentle, so I don't have to worry about replacing this anytime soon. Although oops, that was my fault. The one thing I'll probably need to replace sometime soon, although I'm pretty sure I have cotton thread, is this for the tension. Which, it shouldn't be that difficult to find something. Which, I think it's cotton is usually the thing that most people use, if I'm not mistaken. Which I can probably use a scrap of some of the cotton yarn that I have for dish towels. Ah! Huh, I should probably try that at some point. 'Cause I don't have cotton for my leaders. Although I do have some cotton thread, some size 10, which is about sock weight. So that would probably work. Come on. There it is. Yeah. I very much appreciate not getting my hand hit by this thing. Although it's not going fast enough that I'd probably break anything. But I'd rather not risk that. Also, I've never broken a bone yet, and I'd like to keep it that way. Because breaking bones suck, from what I know. Alright, and we're very close. Just a wee bit left, this little bit right here where you see the cup. So, we're probably gonna finish. Which, yeah, I think I might just go and get some other floof to spin once I'm done with this. Just because. No worries, enjoy your lunch, Nums. Did I really have... No, I didn't really have lunch. I just had tea. But now... Sorry. Cookies are always a nice option. Alright. We've gotten to terribly sparkly. Yeah. Grafting. Well, no. Grafting is usually when you put. But, yeah, filing it down and all that stuff, which that is always macabre when I have to think about that. Thankfully, also not a thing I've dealt with, but. Ugh. Hate it. Alright, and. Come on. This little bit of blue stuff. Whee! Alright, and that pretty much finishes this. I could have just pressed the foot pedal, but given that's it, literally with this. Get that to twist in there. Hey, hello, welcome. How are you? I am here just finishing off this spinning here, which this is gonna hang out on the wheel for a bit. Well, this bobbin specifically. How you doing? How goes things? Alright, let's see. That's gonna come off of here. And that is the bobbin. I'm gonna grab another bobbin. Oh, that's here. Cool. Yay! I wasn't sure where I had it. But luckily I had that within reach. But I didn't think I'd be finishing this with this much time to spare, so that works for me. So let's get another bobbin on here. Which, this thing comes with 6, so I doubt I'll be running out of bobbins anytime soon. There it is. And thankfully this is not off kilter like the last time. Dun, 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 dun. Alright. That's set. Oh, okay. I was about to say I did not break that. I mean, it comes with a replacement one, but I'd be annoyed because I'd have to go and grab it. Although, actually, I think I have that in front of me as well, so actually would not be the worst time. Which, these do become brittle, and after a while do break. So that's also a thing you kind of have to worry about. But not an immediate worry. Alright, and also, given how this sews, yeah, let me untension that. Alright, we are good to go here. So let me go find my floof, and you guys can kind of stare at this and also this empty bobbin for the moment. I'll be right back. It's right over there. that is. I knew it was, I just had to shuffle it around with stuff. But this is some yarn I bought last year for my birthday. From Alley Cat Fiber Arts. I'm pretty sure her Etsy shop should still be open, so... Here is her card. And this is the Floof here, which I usually don't spin anything with white in there. But in this I can make an exception because it's pretty. Also, this has, let's see, has an 80-20, so 80% merino, 20% Tussa silk, a little over 4 ounces. Called Munstead Lavender. I have not spun on a braid in a little bit, so yeah, I think I might just play it straight, honestly. I mean, arguably I could also fractal play it, maybe? Fractal spin it, rather. Yeah. Was this the wrong way? Yeah, I think it might have been the other. Yeah. Yep. It was this way. Which I'm gonna put it back in the plastic bag. So I don't get it covered in these sparklies too much. A spinner's hazard. Okay. Okay, given it's not that thick of a braid, I think I could just spin it straight and it'll be fine. But yeah, I really do love how this looks. Also, given this is... what's its face? Silk. I'm probably gonna have to spin this on a higher speed. Which is definitely a good part of why I got this. Also, looking for scissors so I can cut a bit of this. Of course, I'm probably not gonna get too far. WS is short for Words on Stream. Word game I like to play here sometimes. Basically, it's you get a bunch of letters, like I'd say maybe between 6 and about 8, and then you have to guess the thing. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna want a lead. Do I have any leads around here? I think I do. If so, it's probably over there, so I'm gonna have to stretch over there and get it. So, let me put the Be Right Back screen on. I'm not going anywhere, I just need to stretch over here to get it. There it is. Oops. Alright. Da. There we are. Cool. Oh, that moved a little bit. Oopsie. Alright. So. Yeah, this is probably gonna get some sparkles in there. But oh well. So, this is what the sparkly bats were wrapped in which I kept this for, you know, as a potential lead. Which is a thing I like to do in order to keep me from having to use scraps terribly often. Alright, and let's see. Yeah. That, and then let's see. That might be a little too short if I do double. Yeah. I'll probably have to just do it once, and that should hopefully suffice enough. Yeah, it's usually better to do it double to avoid, you know, the thing sliding around. Alright, and time to start drafting. Oh, I actually could have split it. Oh well. So it looked like... no, I think it's because this light's dimming. Yeah, light's dimming a bit. I'm not sure if we're supposed to get rain. I would have to check. And also, I was like, it looks dark. I wasn't sure if it was me or not. So, let me actually... Let's see. Employ the mini batting pack. And... yeah, because the light probably needs charging. But yeah, it's mainly just because of where I am. Why it gets dark over here, and it's annoying. Oh, Sparkly Floof is finished. So, this is hanging out here, so I'm starting to spin the Merino and Tessa Silk, which, hold on, yeah. Tessa Silk, that I have hanging out here. It's an 80-20. Which, this is probably going to be sock yarn. I don't think I've had sock yarn I've put silk in. Really? I keep forgetting that's a thing. Given how common it is for me to use it myself. Let's see. Do I want to try? Okay, I can maybe do Z-twist for the singles and then S for the nylon. Fair. That is completely fair. Oh, that would help. Come on. Here's a little bunching bit right there. Shouldn't it be? Yeah, that makes sense. I have to remember that this needs a lot more twist to it, or else it'll start breaking. Alright, also. Okay, looks like I need a little bit of tension in here. So it's not pulling. There it is. That's a little too much, though. That's like yanking it out of my hands. Which is not helpful. Whee! Oh, okay, it's showing that color. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure I have enough twist in here. The first time I ever tried to tried to spin anything with the silk, and it started breaking at first because I didn't have enough twist in there. Especially if it's gonna be, you know, sock yarn. Although I do wonder if I should go for a straight 3-ply. I wonders. So, yeah, let's draft a little bit here. Oh, so you can kind of see why I chose it. All the purple. I know, shocking. Also, let me hide what that image is, because that doesn't qualify anymore, for now. Although, once I start playing that sparkly stuff, I'll probably put that back on there. Whee! Oh, so how fast? Okay. Just a little bit over 2. I thought I was gonna need 3 for this, but I'm apparently mistaken. Also, what are you having for lunch, Noms? Come on. Keeping a little watch on my hands, because I'm fortunately not the best at doing this by feel. It's usually better to go by sight, at least for the moment anyway. Ooh! Chinese! Chinese is always nice. Love me some sweet and sour chicken. Can't even remember the last time I had that. All of the pork lo mein and fried. Nice! Lo mein is also a good option. And fried rice. Fried rice is always good. It's like, I feel like you could always tell if a Chinese place is good if their fried rice sucks or not. Yay, not just me thinking that, because, like, if you can't do a decent fried rice, yes. Mushy fried rice is disappointing. Like, way too disappointing. Because, like, that means you honestly didn't fry it at, you know, a high enough temperature. Or, what's its face? Didn't use proper rice or something along those lines. Or skip that too. The too oily part, honestly. That's more of just not knowing when to stop with the oil. Because, you know, you kind of expect the rice to absorb a little bit of it, so that's fair. But, you know, sometimes it can be hard to tell if you're being heavy-handed. Alright, yeah, let's move the hook. Also, I'm going real thin. This is probably going to be really stupid thin, but oh well. I'm pretty sure this is actually thinner than my usual 40 reps per inch. Oops. Oh well. Also, now you're making me want Chinese, man. I should have a food gift of some kind. Also... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Fair. Also, apparently the laptop was plugged out. So it was about to die. So that was gonna be a problem. Fixed it though, because the part that was plugged into the wall disconnected from the other bit, so yeah, that would explain why. Because I'm like, I have it plugged in. What are you talking about? This is the second time I've done that. Luckily, I'm used to last-minute scrambling to plug the laptop back in before it decides it hates me. Come on. There it is. Also, I'll need to make sure I write down that it's Z-twist for the singles on this one. Nope, not you. Also, thank you for that follow, Tracy. How you doing? How's your Saturday? I'm here spinning some yarn that I got for my birthday last year. Well, spinning some fiber into yarn. How are you doing? What are you up to? And hopefully your weekend is going well so far. Which, we're spinning this fiber because I'd finished spinning the last remnants of this Batt of very sparkly and bright. Present. Usually how it goes until you find something else and it's like, oh look, new thing! Shiny! I have a lot more fiber. I even have some of the... what's its face? Wool of the Andes roving that I got. Which I have some of it in red and some other bits of it in, I think, like a mint-ish sort of color, I think. Either way, that's gonna be fun to spin at some point. Although that's probably gonna be shawl yarn because that's 100% wool. I don't mind having options. Also, I don't think I shouted out Stacy before for today. Although I imagine a majority of you guys know who she is, but anybody who's hanging out here and does not, Tonic Stacy is a lovely streamer who does does some spinning, does some knitting. Currently working on the Stephen West Shawl Mystery Knit Along. You want to go check out her things and stuff, totally feel free to give her a follow. At this link here. Ta-da! There we go. We are cool. I try to do that. I sometimes forget, but I try to do so. Also... yeah. Okay, that's what that is. I thought so. Discord alert. Alright. SQ... what's SQ? Also, I remember you showing off some of the stuff that you had gotten. When you bought someone, I think. Oh, sweater quantity. Oh. I have never spun for a sweater. I would love to do that at some point, which arguably I could with some of that wool of the Andes. But I would have to buy more of it, because I doubt I'd be able to spin a sweater's quantity out of 4 ounces, because, you know, look at me. I am not exactly a size 2 or something. Not that I really give a fuck on that one. Alright, there we go. Also, which color did you get the sweater quantity? They have roving, wool of the Andes. Both knit picks and we crochet. They have that. Remember I showed you some of it that I bought a while ago. Yes! Birthday sweater! That would be awesome. Ooh, oh yeah, I forgot you're doing a stop-along thing. That sounds like fun. I got the deep purple. Ah, okay. Amethyst? Yeah, amethyst. And the yeah, I have the minty color for the app. I have that minty color. That sounds like fun. And those colors sound like they should be beautifully contrasting with each other. Alright, yeah. This needs to move, like now. Yeah, it's presuming cuff down, but I have no idea. Because I feel like cuff down socks are typically the standard. Once, and I did 2 at a time, and it was glory. Ah! Oh wait, yeah, I remember you saying that. It's been a while since you mentioned that. 2 socks are one of the... Yay! Speaking of toe-up socks, I still have those speckled space socks. I have the pattern on my phone. One with the fish lips, and one with the afterthought. Nice! Because the afterthought is also a nice option when it comes to knitting socks. Which, for anybody here, I like knitting socks. Yeah, I've had that pattern sitting there for a while. Rogue Knitter had knit those in some really pretty purple. It's just, I don't have a ton of speckled, which is why I haven't done that. I know it doesn't have to be speckled. You could probably use a tonal as well. Which I actually have that bluish purple tonal I could probably use for those now that I think about it. Which, I think you've seen it, but probably wouldn't hurt for me to grab the yarn again to show you what it is. I forget what the name of the color is. Nope. 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 That's too much flow. there it is. But yeah, this stuff. What is this color anyway? Forget what it is. Blue-violet tonal. Which, yes, of course I want the bluish-purple color. Which this is 400? Yeah, 462. So this will at least be one, if not two pairs of socks. Yeah, this is why I like the stroll tonals. They are very, very fucking pretty. Also, not this. I'm pretty sure this isn't the color that you had gotten, because I know there's like a mint. This is the fjord color that you were talking about with the accent color. I have this, and then I think garnet is the red color. I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure garnet's the red I have. But yeah, I cannot wait to eventually spin this. This will probably be a next year spin, I suspect. If not next year, probably during Christmas. I might spin one of these on my Turkish spindle, just to give me something to spin. I like being able to spin the things. Let me put these back before I forget. So I like to know where my yarn is. Ta-da! Oh, it is! I wasn't sure, but I was like, I remember, I swear there was just a straight mint color, but I could be mistaken. Let me double check. Knit perks. Because there's a section for roving. Yarn, fiber, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think it's the Seymour section, and then there should be roving. I think. And I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. But yeah, roving. There's Wool of the Andes, and then there's Bear, Wool of the Andes, Stroll, and also Bear Gloss. Which gloss is basically 70% wool, 30% silk. So basically like this, except slightly more silk content in there. Copy. And... but I'm not seeing... Ah, okay. Okay. There we go. But yeah, if anybody wants to get into the rovy goodness of... what's its face? Of the Wool of the Andes. Definitely feel free to check there. TD. Oh man! You've been busy! Life exists. You will hopefully have time to spin the Floof once again. I know you have quite a bit of a stash, if I recall, so I know you're not lacking in options, but you know. You gotta be able to have time to actually spin, so that's a thing. Also, we are unintentionally going overtime, and I don't mind. Spinning project? Oops. My bad. Well, it's gonna look very, very fun once it's done. Because you have a bunch of pretty cool neon colors. Yeah. Okay, that's close-ish to the... actually, no. If I include the roving, I have about 4 braids. I know I have a braid of... what's its face? Braid of Polworth and silk. The silk is like 40%, so double what it's in here. So it's gonna be a bit slippery, I suspect. So yeah, I have one of those. 3 braids of acrylic. So there's that. Let's see. There's one with tencel. Of course. Yeah, black tinsel, what's the other? The purple one. What's the other one? It's the same like the blue one that I had spun before. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of it is. It's not Teeswater. I think that's what I was confusing it for. Ooh, camel hair. Fancy. But yeah, there's a purple braid. So I have at least 6 braids. So I'm definitely good for, you know, a good chunk of next year, if not pretty much all of next year, when it comes to spinning fiber. Because I like to whittle down my stash until I'm, like, down to, like, 2 or 3 before, you know, I try to get any more floof. Color seem to... Aww. I'm sure your color choices were lovely. Plus, phone cameras are stupid, so what do they know? Yeah, the Raven Floof. Which color is that? I think that's also Wool of the Andes. Which color is that? I think that might be the Death Heather. Yeah. Delft. If it is that. It could be something else and I could be mistaken. Wouldn't be the first time, but I'm pretty sure that is also Wool of the Andes. Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, cool. I was like, I know it's similar to that in color. Maroon. Yay! Oh, exactly. If it's a neutral, you can wear it every goddamn where. Which is always nice to have. Which I don't have a ton of stuff in neutrals, which is a problem when it comes to that. I like doing the fun, bright colors, so I kind of have to coordinate. Also noted, Busy Bees. Yeah, you had mentioned that. But that eluded me memory-wise. Oops. That's the Gothic Rainbow. I love whenever I think Gothic, I think of churches, just because of, you know, the Gothic style. Yeah, I took, what's-its-face, art history course in college. It fit a requirement, plus, I like art. Let's see. Ooh! That is pretty. Okay, yeah, I can see what you said about, you know, the dull part just because there aren't really bright colors. But that is pretty. Well, not every rainbow needs to be stupid bright anyway. It's been a week. And so... Aw, man! Hopefully they get back to you. That's not cool. Plus, it usually behooves the seller to usually get back to you promptly. For the socks. Oh, okay. But yeah, still boo. Hopefully they do get back to you soon enough. I'll post it. No rush. Absolutely no rush. But yeah, that is certainly an interesting project, I will tell you that much. By the sounds of what you guys mentioned so far. Yeah, like, something could have happened, honestly, where they might not be able to get back to you immediately. I don't know. I can only speculate. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Could just be a little hiccup. And hopefully things will be fixed. Also, I'm not paying attention to my bobbin. I'm not paying attention to my bobbin, and I should probably move my hook. Yeah, I'm just like, no, 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 no. Oh, yeah, about that thing I should be paying attention to. I forgot. Yeah. That's the only thing you could say right now. But who knows? But definitely good luck on hearing back from them about it. I am very tempted to plug my own Etsy shop, but I'm like, no, don't be that person. Also, anybody hanging out here has not been here before, my bot just spat out a blurb about my general schedule, which is typically Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from about 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Sometimes they go over, as you can plainly see. And there are times, I could end up starting late, but that's typically the general time frame I have. So that is a thing. If stuff happens, or if I don't feel like streaming that day and decide to cancel, I usually try to inform you via Discord, Twitter, and usually end up putting a thing right on the stream tile saying, hey, I'm not doing the thing. There. I'm always worried about being overzealous about this thing. Even though, I've been plainly told it is literally me. I'm just worrying about things too often, which, how can I not? In this chaos fountain of a decade. Oh, the signs were there the entire time, and I will not get into that. We don't need to get on that soapbox. Or we'll be here all evening. Oh yeah, what I was about to do. Etsy shop, yes. I have an Etsy shop, which majority of my stuff is handmade things, so let's see. Dish towels, which some of the dish towels in the larger size can also double as placemats, if you're into that sort of thing, which I have about 16 different colors, 14 different colors, 6 of them variegated. Okay. So yeah, there's dish towels, there are pumpkin keychains, which I have 4 in a golden orange color. And then another listing involving them in about 4 other colors. So purple, green, gray, and burgundy. And there are also chainmail stitch markers, which I would pull them out right now, but I am busy spinning. Which I have pre-made sets of stitch markers, the knit ones. And there's also ones with lobster clasp you can also get as well. Which if you're interested in any of this, totally feel free to check out my website, which you can check in the check on my Twitch profile, or you can do !follow and you will get my link tree. And the link should be there. Alright, plug over. Let's make sure I don't destroy this yarn. But yeah, I'm usually constantly worried. I'm like, am I doing too much? Come on. I'm not sure how long I'm gonna go for. Because again, I know I'm going overtime. Might do at most another 5 minutes, and then I will probably look for somewhere to raid. I literally should have gotten off on time because I do want to actually deal with my goddamn hair while it's still warm enough to do so. Once it starts getting colder, it's definitely more of an issue. I'd rather not get a cold just because I washed my hair. Because that would be my luck. I wish I did naps. I don't do naps. Also, given the whole, hey, I should have caffeinated beverages in my face in the middle of the day, that would also probably be why. But you can pry those caffeinated beverages out of my cold dead hands, so yeah. That's not changing. But that's also why I'm typically up until about 1 a.m. or so. It's fair. That is fair. I'm more like the weekends are for maybe catching up on things I need to get done. And or, chill and or watch shows. Like, Only Murders in the Building. I always add in plural, which I'm only on episode 4. I want to get through the rest of it until the season finale, because the season finale is this Tuesday coming up. So I want to get through all the other episodes before then. Yeah, I think this has, lavender on it or something. If I recall correctly. Also, time to move the hook. Man, I'm spinning really thin. Oh well. Come on. But yeah, this should definitely hold up pretty well for socks. I might be able to get a 4-ply in. But that's if I separate this properly, which I probably should have done that from the start if I wanted to do a 4-ply. Come on. Also, I finally got my envelopes yesterday after stream, like I figured I would. So I can send you guys stickers in the mail for, anybody who happens to sub or resub and gets stickers. Also, probably for giveaways in the future, because that would be easier. Although that would also mean I'd probably have to start buying stamps on a regular-ish basis. That's not the worst thing ever, so meh. Alright. a little bit more, and then I will do the pausing for today. Come on. Come on. Do. I know there's at least 1 or 2 people on that do craft things at this point in time, so I believe we should definitely not have a problem with getting the raid target part. Because they worked on it. What? Wow. Oh boy. Doing it by yourself does not contemplate working together. What I've... Oh. Ah. So basically put way too much in it. Great. How is a kid supposed to learn if, you know, they don't do the damn thing themselves? The kid couldn't... Oh no. So I made him redo it. For good reason. And that's kinder than just giving him an F. So... there's that. Alright, hands. Alright, what is it? Amazon, what do you want? Because I bought stuff from you, you're bothering me now? Oh, it's book thing. Because I have Kindle Unlimited on there for like 2 months for free. So I'm not paying for that. To test my knowledge, add to tell on my projects may seem. Wow. Basically, he tried the "what do you know" excuse. That's great. That's real great. Alright, so Lioness is on. So I'm gonna open that and then set this up to be a raid. Because I usually try to raid if, you know, I get raided to send the love and appreciation forward. Mute tab so an ad does not touch screaming at me because I know I'm not subbed to her. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. I knew there's this song that's gonna come up. I've listened to this how many times. Come on. Is that not gonna move up any higher? Okay. Why are you being weird? But I really hate parents like that. It's like, but what do you know? It's like, I'm the goddamn teacher? I don't know. Alright, also, hi, I have a face. Also, I need to turn this off because that's gonna make things annoying. There we go. Alright, so... finish bobbin. This is gonna hang out here for probably a day or so, and then I'll start getting to plying. I'm just fresh. That is completely fair. So if you do the whole thing yourself, the kid didn't do anything, and also the kid doesn't learn anything, and it's like... what's the point of any of that? It's better the kid, you know, struggle. I mean, yes, maybe, like, give a pointer and all that stuff, but yeah, I understand. Also, let's turn this off before I accidentally do some shit and then injure myself somehow. But yeah, Subsquares, about 7 of them. all done today. Finished doing some sparklies and started spinning some other floof. But yes, Stacy, thank you again for the raid. Very much appreciated. Joycey, thank you for your follow. Personalized Patchwork, also thank you for your follow as well. I will be back again on Tuesday. Might be doing chainmail on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. And I'm going to actually set up a raid to go to Lioness, so if you guys want to come along with me, totally feel free to. Which, for anybody unfamiliar with what a raid is, raiding is when a streamer, myself in this case, takes their lovely viewers over to another stream directly. Also, let's actually put myself on the ending screen. But yeah, takes you guys to another stream